In the last video, I introduced the vertical line test to help determine if something is a function or not. So in this video, we'll just go through some examples and we're going to use it to help determine if something is a function or not. All right, so here's my, maybe I'll just use yellow. So here's my first example. So here's example 1. So I'm going to basically get a set. So here's 2, 3, 1, 3. Then let me get another point, -2, 4. Let me get another point, which is 3, 1. And then let me get one more point, which is 2, 1. So maybe sometimes by looking at this, you cannot determine if this is simply a function or not. One good way is to sort of look for the x's, look for multiple x's. So for example, in this case, I can actually see that here's an x of 2. And do I see another 2? I do see another 2 over here. So I do see another 2. So I have two x's which are the same input, but here I can see here's an output of 3 and here's an output of 1. All right. So sometimes maybe just by looking at a set, you maybe have difficulty. Right now, I can immediately say that this is not a function, but maybe it helps to visualize it. So why don't we just like sort of draw a graph and visually see why it's not a function, and then we can use the vertical line test to help us there. So here's like a graph right here, and let me just go back to yellow, and so -1, -2, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's start plotting these points. I'm going to use the green color. So 2, 3. So 2, 3. So here's 2. Here's 3. That's 1 point right there. 1, 3. So here's 1. That's 3. All right, so that's 1, 3. -2, 4. Well, here's -2. Here's 4. 3, 1. So here's 3. Here's 1. And then 2, 1. Here's 2. And here's 1. All right, so sure, we have these 5 green points. And now let's use the vertical line test to determine whether this is a function or not. So I'm just going to draw a vertical red line. And remember, if the set of points fails the vertical line test anywhere, then the whole thing is not a function. All right. So let's start maybe from the left. So if I slide the vertical line through here, my first point over here, I can see for -2, I can only see one green point, meaning that there's only for this input there's only one output. So it passes it there. I keep going, I keep going, I keep going, and I look at 1. I see for the input of 1, I have only one output, which is a value of 3. And since there's only one green dot, it passes it there. But then when I slide it across this one for the output of 2, I see 2 green dots. In other words, it totally fails the vertical line test. So therefore, I don't even need to go to the next one, because as long as it fails at one spot, then the whole thing is not a function. So therefore, in red, I'm going to write fails the vertical line test, and therefore not a function. Okay, so this is definitely not a function. Let's go through some other examples. So let me try example 2. Okay, so let me try example 2, which is y equals 2x plus 3. Okay, so this is our standard linear equation. If you recall, this is the y-intercept and this is the slope. So again, it really helps to visualize it. So let me sort of just get a visual. Oops. So let's say I have here my axes, right? And since this is a linear equation, we know that it's going to be facing up because the slope is positive. And since we have a y-intercept of 3, let me get a different color here. Let me get green. So we have basically a line right there, and the y-intercept is a value of 3, and it's facing up, so we don't really need to worry about, since it's positive, I'm not, if I draw the rise and run, I'm going to have a rise of 2 and a run of 1, because this is 2 over 1. Okay, so anyways, here's our graph. And based on this, let's say if I get a vertical line, say if I get a vertical line that goes like that, And remember, we're comparing the vertical line with the green line, not with the yellow. So if I slide this line across, I only see one intersection point. For every input, I only see one output. I only see one output everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I only see one output. So therefore, it passes the vertical line test. So let me use red. So it passes the vertical line test. The vertical line test. And therefore, this is a function. This is a function. Meaning this equation right here is a function. Let's do one more example. And so this will be our last example. I think this is what I have. Oh no, I have two more examples. So let's do example 3. So say for example, I have a function that looks like this. So again, let me just draw my set of axes. So I have an axis right there, an axis right there. And this time I'm going to draw a parabola. So I'm going to draw a parabola like that. Okay, so it goes on forever there and goes on forever there. And now, once again, let me get my red vertical line test. It doesn't matter what color. I just like to choose red simply because it's it contrasts the green really well. So once again, I'm just going to slide from the it doesn't matter from left to right, right to left, but I always like to go from left to right. So I'm sliding my vertical line, and all I see is always one intersection point. Even here, I only see the vertical line intersects it once. It intersects it once. I don't see two green dots anywhere once. So no matter where I go, I only see one intersection point. So therefore, it passes the vertical line test. So oops, let me again go to red. So passes the vertical line test. Vertical line test. And therefore, this is a function. This is a function. Okay. And finally, one last one is, let's do example 4. Once again, let me just draw these axes super quickly. So I got one there, one there. And this time what I'm going to draw is, I'm actually going to draw a, let's see if I can get that shape. I'm actually going to draw a circle. And we'll see if a circle is, so there we go. So, and then now what I'm going to draw is a straight vertical line. There we go. Okay. So let's see if it fails or passes the vertical line test. So over here, maybe as I go to the edge, it probably passes the vertical line test, but now as I keep going, it's really clear that it fails the vertical line test because now I have two intersection points. I have one point right here, but I also have another over there. And remember, to pass the vertical line test, no matter where you go, we need to always have just one intersection point. But for a circle, almost everywhere we go, we see two intersection points. I see two intersection points. I see an intersection point there and an intersection point there. So for this, we would say it fails the vertical line test, and therefore this is not a function. All right, I'll see you in the next video.